Well, it's a good evening to be outside just to give you an update on what's been going on here today in north central West Virginia in regards to roads. Conversations are still continuing with county commissioners, elected officials, and the DOH. Tonight was no exception. Tonight was the second meeting of our roundtable discussion, and we had a guest speaker, which was Mr. Donnie Williams, who is the district engineer and district manager for District 4 here in north central West Virginia, which encompasses, I believe, 5 counties, which includes Mon, Marion, and Preston, Tyler, Doddridge, and Harrison. So great conversation. Donnie was there to provide it with some updates in regards to the monies being spent, what's coming into Mon County and each county for that matter, how it's going to be spent, and what determines the priority for when they're working on roads here in our regions. And obviously where the bulk of the money is spent. In Preston County, it's snow. 50% of their budget's for snow removal. Here in Mon County and other counties, it's for roads, for your primary roads. And they do take position 1 as far as getting the money into those roads and the labor force that's needed to maintain those roads, and it takes up a great deal of our budget because, quite honestly, that's where the traffic count is located. From there they go to secondary roads, and then what we refer to, some of us, as tertiary roads, which is our smaller roads, gravel roads, unlined roads, and the old orphan roads that were brought into the system under the Underwood administration. So we continue to have that dialogue. Donnie basically put it to us this way: it's kind of like when you're figuring out a priority, if you're working in a house and you're working on the roof because there's a 4-foot hole there, and then someone says, hey, you need to come down here and work on a leak in the plumbing, you know, it's not rocket science which one you're going to work on first and which one you're going to complete. And that's what we have with our highway system. We do have to establish priorities. Donnie also mentioned, which I think we should all be aware of, that we're 10 years behind, mainly due to the way the stock market and everything reacted 10 years ago, and causing an economic decline that we're still to this day trying to get out of. Although revenues are coming into the state of West Virginia, but those aren't revenues we attach to highway and road maintenance. Donnie wants to focus on here in the future, his focus is on maintenance, and we have the monies for regular roads. We want to tackle those maintenance items that we all get phone calls for as far as legislators go. We tackle those issues such as cutting brush back, ditching, gravel on older roads, and projects like that. So Donnie wants to make that a priority, but he also brought to our attention, this is the dollar amount it's going to take. And for District 4, it takes about $32 million, $9 million of that coming to Mon County just to get us up to a maintenance schedule that each and every one of us would like to have. And I think that's commendable of the DOH office there in District 4. However, it does come with a price tag, and the state does not have it. We can try and take money from other districts, but no, that's quite honestly, that's not really the way we want to function. We need to figure out a way to make the pie bigger, not just take pie from somebody else to fix Mon or Marion's problems we have here. Some would say, hey, we put more into it. Well, yes, we do. That's exactly right. But again, there's a formula, and the audit, if you'll recall, that we've ordered will take into consideration how that formula works, how it's weighted, and how those monies are provided to us. As I mentioned in another video, Preston County, 50% of their budget goes to snow removal. We don't have that big a problem here with snow removal. So all those things have to be taken into consideration as we move forward. But the numbers Donnie provided us gives us a foundation, and those I hope will be included in the analysis and audit later on this year. So we can take that information to Charleston, because legislators themselves are data driven. They like to see things in black and white. So if we can put this in black and white, then that gives us something to say, okay, now we need to craft a piece of legislation that will address this problem. One of the problems is labor. We need to get labor into our Department of Highways. Very few counties have what they need as far as a labor force. Montague County is one of those with 10 people short, which has a trickle-down effect on all the projects that's being worked on. So we need to figure out a way to basically pay these folks a lot more money, because $13 an hour is not cutting it when you can go to Chick-fil-A and make $15 an hour. So, and these guys are folks, women, men and women, with CDL license, which in other areas are paying $23 to $29 an hour. So we have a long road ahead of us. I know folks like to talk about the bond issue, but this is not about the bond issue. This is something altogether different. The bond issue is for new projects, although some of the things we did in the last session does free up some additional monies for us, but it's nowhere nearly what we need for just District 4. And there's 10 districts across the state, and many of them say they're in the same position that we are in regards to deterioration in our infrastructure system around their counties. So we're just trying to share in the wealth and make sure that we have the money necessary to move forward. But I will keep you in the loop. We'll do another video after the next meeting, which is scheduled for August. If I find out anything on the audit in the meantime, I'll come back and we'll share that information as well. But I want you to have a good evening, and thank you for listening. If you have a question, send me a private message or just file a question in below this video. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye now.